Alrighty, we are back and we're about to kick off on this next part of our journey to Senpou Temple. So, settle in, grab yourself a drink, something to eat, maybe a snack, as we are going to be kicking this off pretty soon. Just making sure my audio is okay, which it doesn't seem to be, so just bear with me for a second. No, I'm getting a bit of an audio issue, so just hold tight. Alrighty then, we are back and ready to continue this journey into Sekiro. So, our plan for today, you may have noticed, is a little bit of an earlier stream. And, well, it's Easter Monday here, and sorry, the volume's just a bit too high for me at the moment. Just shift it a little bit. That's a bit better. Anyway, so today is Easter Monday, and today we're having a bit of an earlier stream. We're going to be running for probably 2 to 3 hours again. Today we're heading to Senpou Temple, and we're going to meet an NPC there who doesn't appear if you follow through the main part of the storyline. You have to actually visit this place before anywhere else, just so that you have a chance of having a conversation with him. It's pretty important for the ending that I'm aiming for with this playthrough, and he actually offers us a little bit of extra lore for it too. So, without further ado, we're about to kick off. So I've really been digging my my playthrough for this. It's also kind of a walkthrough for people who haven't played it, and it's just a way for me to share just how much I actually enjoy this game. So just unequip some prosthetic tools. Right, quick recap. Before we finished last week, last Friday, I had a chat with Emma. We collected some of the dragon rot blood from the memorial mob at the Ashina stairwell, and we received the recovery charm, which allows us to heal whenever NPCs receive dragon rot. And today we are initially, like I said, heading to Senpou Temple, and if we still have time, we'll be heading to Mibu Village before the main storyline continues as well. Alright, so, but before we do any of that, I have a plan to get access to an item that we're going to need at some point. So, first thing we'll do, we'll head to Ashina Castle Gate. We're going to save ourselves a merchant. We are going to kill another general, and then we are going to get our way to the old grave, as we need to meet another pretty important NPC. So we're heading up there to kill this general guy first, but before that... Ow. That was a little close. What we got there? So we also need about 1,000 sen before we meet this character at the old grave, as they've got a skill that's extremely useful. Let's pop a heal and head up this way. So the merchant I was talking about saving is actually just around the side here. Excuse me. Excuse me. A little touch and go there. Okay, so we're just gonna head over here, and just behind here you can find a merchant.
だな、この城の侍じゃないみたいだな。忍び、それもかなりの手だれだ。おうやっぱりか。ともあれ、助かったよ。ちと下手こいちまってな。侍どもにしつこく追われて参ってたんだが、旦那がみんな黙らせてくれた。これはその礼さ。俺の食いぶちは情報だからな。ん？まだなんか用かい？あいにくと危ない場所では飽きなわないのさ。命あってのなんとやらだ。縁があればまたどこかで会おうぜ。
Alright, so we've just saved the merchant, and when we see him next, he's going to be back at the dilapidated temple, and he's going to be a source of some pretty useful items. The next thing we have to do is head up and fight that general. So head this way. To bait these guys over this side here, otherwise just going to keep throwing stuff at me. Actually, let's drop off here. I need to get across to that side there without them drawing aggro. Down here. Oh. Ouch. Where was that? Ouch. Let's try that again. There we go. Actually, what I might do is get one more level up and then go and get a few skills. Also, the item that we collected from the merchant was the Nightjar Beacon Memo. So, a note on smoke signals used by the Ashina Shinobi, the Grey Nightjars. Pale pink smoke signals are placed along the rooftops of Ashina Castle. These signals guide the Nightjar. The ashen-feathered flock are surely the only ones able to follow such a trail. Alright, so let's grab a quick heal. Okay, so
皆の衆、分かっておるな。来たるべきは芦名存亡の戦。一心様、そして芦名の民のために命を捨てて参ろうぞ。我らこそ芦名、不当の芦名衆よ。
So this guy is surrounded by rather frustrating riflemen, and the best way of getting to him is cutting our way through all of them. Fortunately, each one only takes a couple of hits at this level, but they have range and they have a fair bit of speed. So what we'll do is we'll head back and rest up, get our heals back. And deal with these guys. But first, ouch. Alright, let's grab ourselves a level up. Okay, so a couple of things that we want here. We want the Breath of Life Light, so it allows us to recover vitality upon performing a successful death blow. So that's extremely handy when it comes to regaining health without needing to use potions. So we'll pick up the Shinobi's Karma Body and the Breath of Life Light. We'll also pick the grappling hook attack, which allows us to attack after we grapple towards an enemy. And that should do it for the time being. Okay. Should make these guys a little bit easier, and of course we want to try and take advantage of our mobility. Work our way out this way. Ouch. Ooh. That was awkward. Oh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Ouch. God damn it. And done. And that'll get us another Krabby. Well, that could have been better, but it did the job. And we'll pick up this item here now. Some more divine grass. Right, so we've managed to do that. Now, you'd think, oh yeah, we'll just go in through the main gate, but the door does not open from this side. And we need to pick up an item that's on the other side of that, which normally means we have to ascend the castle, which is what we'll do briefly. Just because we do need this upgrade from this character. Right, so we've dealt with the general. We'll head this way. And the reason we picked up that grappling hook ability before is for this. Two down. And we can probably ignore this guy. Unless we draw his aggro, which we do. Stop that. Another one down. And now we'll ascend the top of the castle. Oh. Right over here. Head up and work our way across. Now, there's actually a pretty funny thing that happens in this particular sequence here. So the nightjars attach themselves to these kites that fly from the castle. And when you get close enough, well... they do that. Heal up. Okay, so you've actually got a couple options here. You can head across the castle. You can loop around that side there and deal with a couple of the enemies there. There's even a couple of... there's one down there as well. So we'll creep along here, we'll get this guy. And then head down there. Wait for him to come across to us. Excuse me. And the game hint strike again. Okay. Grab that. So there's actually a kite guy just over there, and he's even funnier than the other ones, but we'll grab this guy here. This guy here. This guy here. Now, there's a couple of things you can do with this guy up here. You can let him fly at you, in which case he's going to explode. Or you can just sprint and grapple your way up to the door we need to get to. So I think we're probably just going to sprint around this guy. It's pretty funny though. And he blows up. We'll grab ourselves a new gourd seed. And we'll rest up. Okay, so you can go through that way, but there is a swordsman hiding behind this here. You can hear him moving, so we'll sneak up behind him. And go through this door, which gets us a little bit closer to the direction we need to head in, which is down the middle of the tower. So we'll sneak, creep past this guy here. Straight into a sneak. We're almost up to one of the next big secrets in the game. So we'll get this guy. So these are Ashina Samurai. They've got a slightly different moveset to most of the other swordsmen in the game. They're a lot more patient, and they've got a wide variety of attacks. So we'll sneak here, because we want to get the sneak on these two guys here. As you can see, they've got a Mercury counterable thrust, which, well, allows them to survive it because they've got enough health. Pick up this item here, but here is the second location of a secret. Now it doesn't look like much, but if you recall when we were traveling through Hirata Estate, this particular icon appeared on a wall. So if you come up to it and hug it, secret door. And here we've got another prayer bead. which allows us to have 4, which means we're going to get another health increase and some more vitality. Also pick up the coin purse too. We'll head back. Alright, so from here, you'd think, okay, we have to work our way through that doorway there. And we do, but we can't open it from this side. Instead, there is a hole in the wall. And here, we have Genichiro. So this next sequence requires a bit of finessing, as there are 4 enemies. There are these 2 here. There are 2 just around the corner there, and there's another one there. So what we want to do is we want to kill the guy there, the mercenary, then we want to open the door. We want to open the door because the kill is actually going to draw the attention of the 2 around the corner, and the last thing we want is to find ourselves in combat with a whole bunch of guys. We will prepare ourselves by getting a firecracker ready just in case, and death blow. Ouch. Let's get out of here. Excuse me. Heal up. Now, ideally, we want to take these guys one at a time, but it's probably not going to be possible. Let's get rid of that posture. That went much better than expected. And they dropped a whole bunch of divine confetti, which is going to become extremely handy when it comes to some of the enemies we'll be fighting. So what we'll do now, we'll head up here, we'll grab our upgrades, check out this remnant. Alright, so we learned a little bit more about the dragon's blood, and what we'll do is we'll heal up. Grab a reset. We will enhance physical attributes. The third prayer necklace. A prayer bead necklace befits the strong. The bull was a fiery, rampaging beast, and nothing more. In the last great war, the corpses of the Ashina samurai piled high. Something had to be done. So basically that's an explanation that the blazing bull that we met earlier was not the first of its kind that the Ashina have used, and they used it because the losses they were experiencing in their war were becoming too great. So through there is a boss fight, which I can do if I feel like it, or I'll head down here and we'll drop down and we'll continue following my plan for today, which is visiting Senpou Temple. So we'll crouch to stealth, see these two guys around here. Ow. That was close. Stealth. We'll hang out here for a second while we wait for the Ashina samurai to walk past. And we'll get a stealth kill on him and drop down. So now we just want to drop down here, and we want to get the Ashina samurai first. He's probably the most dangerous of the 4 of them that are down there. Okay, so once we've collected all of that, we can head this way. So we've collected the eel liver for the first time, a miraculous drug capable of banishing lightning, offered at the Ashina clan altar. Greatly reduces the amount of damage received from lightning attacks, as well as the shock status abnormality. Lightning is a force of the gods. Eels, while small, are relatives of dragons. Even a god's force can be suppressed, though probably not for long. So that's a good indication that we'll be dealing with enemies that can conduct lightning at some point. And this item has been provided so that we can resist any sort of issues. And then here we have another shinobi tool. The Sabimaru, an ancient Kodachi short sword. Its blade mottled with bluish rust. Can be fitted to the shinobi prosthetic to create a prosthetic tool. Forged by the Ashina clan to resist the inhuman evil that had invaded Ashina in times long forgotten. It was the poisonous gift of the blue rust that finally drove the spirits out. So that's an indication of what this sort of item is used for. And it does have its uses against a couple of enemies in the game. I've always found it more challenging to take down my foes with just the basic tools. But that's not to say you can't use it. Alright, so now we've got this. What this gives us access to is the back of the tower, which is an area you can find. Okay, so we can head through here. I'd recommend getting a good idea of what we've got. So we've got a shinobi hunter and just a regular mercenary. So we'll deathblow the shinobi hunter, which as you remember was a boss. Now we've collected a heavy coin purse for the first time. A purse filled with a large amount of sen. It can be used to acquire the sen inside. Its weight is very promising indeed. The sen in this purse is enforced death. So if you remember, when you do die, you lose half of the experience that you've gained along with half of the sen you've collected. And the heavy coin purse allows you to carry 500 sen. So we want to head over there and kill the dude with the orange on. He's got an item that we're going to need for the future. And over here we have an area called the Old Grave, and if you look over that direction you can see that's the area where we fought the general earlier, and on the other side of that building is where we fought the ogre. And over on this side here we can see the outskirts, which is the first area in the game. So we will activate this idol so that we can fast travel to it. And then what we want to do is we can find a rat merchant. First we'll just collect this item here from the Old Grave, a dragon's blood droplet. So it's another one of those items which allows us to revive those who are suffering from dragon rot. But what we do is once we get to this point here, we look to our right and we find this building down here. And if we jump off the side, you can see there's a hole in the roof. We drop in here and we have a rat. But this is a rat that we can talk to. One of, I think, 2 or 3 of them in the entire game. So we'll have a chat with him. And this...
だから寄せつったんだけどな。まったくしつこくって嫌になるぜ。めんどくせえ。うん？おめえはヨタカの衆か？いいよ。まあそうだろうな。風情がちげえ。だがどうやら同業だ。俺は黒笠のムジナ。おめえは？愛想のないこった。しつこい追っ手に仏頂面の忍び。アシナの連中も外で騒いでな。まったくいい日だね。お主、抜け人か。まあそんなところだ。ところでよ、ちっと銭が入りようなんだが、品はあれど裁くあてがねえ。おめえみてえなやつを待ってたところだぜ。
Alright, so this is the fabled Black Hat Badger. We overheard a couple of rats at the Ashina Castle gate talking about him. He's one of the few that you can actually converse with, and more importantly, he's got a couple of items that are going to become extremely handy in the game. One of them is a prosthetic, and the other is a skill that we're going to need for our journey to Senpou Temple, which is why we've come here to begin with. So, he possesses the Iron Fortress, an iron fan made in the far west. Experienced iron-ribbed fan users can deflect arrows and even bullets using this tool, passed down through generations of assassins serving Senpou Temple. It wouldn't be surprising if the next owner decided its weight was impractical. I find that the Iron Fortress is probably one of the most useful tools in the game. There are a couple of enemies that I would always widely recommend their use against, and it's an item that we should pick up. And as you can see, we've got just over 1500 sen to spend. But there are 2 things we need here, and the second one is the skill text below it, the anti-air deathblow text. Compendium on the Shinobi martial art anti-air deathblow. Skill unlocked upon acquiring this item. A technique which serves the shinobi who is not bound by the earth in battle. So, basically what it allows us to do is leap towards an opponent who has exposed himself in midair and strike, killing him before he hits the ground. Now this is an extremely useful technique, as we are going to be entering an area where there's quite a few enemies that leap around, and we want to take advantage of basically how they behave. So we want to pick this one up, and now we need 1300 to afford the Iron Fortress, and since it's unlikely we're going to be heading back this way anytime soon, we want to collect it now. The other important thing to note is that, if I remember correctly, once you defeat Genichiro and save Kuru, Black Hat Badger moves, and I'm not entirely sure where he moves to. So what we'll do is we'll use a couple of the coin purses we've got to buy the Iron Fortress now. And we'll talk to him.
おめえにはこの鉄線なんざ似合うだろうよ。こいつがありゃ矢でも鉄砲でもなんなら大筒だってなんとかなら。
If that isn't an ominous sort of indicator, I don't know what is.
銭がたまるまではここにいるからよ。気が向いたらまた寄ってくれや。
So what we'll do now is we'll hit the inventory and we'll have a look at the coin purses we've got. So we've got 9 coin purses and 1 heavy coin purse, which is about 1400. So we'll need to use 8 of these. And the heavy coin purse we just collected. So now we'll talk to Black Hat again.
このねぐらは全く具合がいいぜ。次から次へと客が来ら。ま、銭落とす方の客なら歓迎だ。
So we'll collect the Iron Fortress now while we're here. And now what we'll do is, since we've collected 2 prosthetics, is we will return to the dilapidated temple and have a chat with the sculptor. Alright, so if we look to the left, once we get here, we can see the merchant. So we'll have a chat with him.
おお、あの時の旦那じゃねえか。アシナの城では世話になったな。俺はここでしばらく居候さ。仕入れたネタの整理も必要だからな。旦那になら商いもするぜ。どうだい？
So the merchant's got quite a bit of stuff for us, but what we'll do first is we'll just have a chat with him.
ああ、情報以外の品のことか。昔の手癖でな。つい集めっちまうのさ。供養が嫌になって一味も抜けたが、死体を見るとやっぱり放っておけなくてな。それにまあ品に寄せもないだろう。
So we'll see what sort of options he's got available. So he's carrying some dragon's blood droplets in the event that I die a few times and the NPCs begin being infected by the dragon rot. He's got infinite amounts of antidote powder, dousing powder, and pacifying agents. So pacifying agents are extremely useful when dealing with enemies that deal in terror damage. So as you can see, it reduces terror buildup and increases terror resistance for a time. Gravekeepers, executioners, the memorial mob. All those who keep death close keep this powder closer, adhering to a simple rule. If seized with fear, cover your ear. He's also got some coin purses, some heavy coin purses, the Sabimaru memo, which is not a thing we're going to need because we have it now, the 3-story pagoda, which is the location we visited to get the Mistraven feathers, and a gourd seed for 2,000. So we'll need to get 2,000 sen at some point so we can purchase that item. And that's everything that he's got at the moment. So one of our goals now is getting 2,000 sen for that gourd seed. Speaking of gourd seeds, we'll have a chat with Emma and we'll increase the number of heals that we've got access to.
治ったようです。これを物資殿に渡してください。
So Emma has just given us some of the Ashina sake. A bottle of Ashina sake given by Emma. Sake is a drink meant for sharing. While it does not contain water from the fountainhead, it is made from the purest waters and is a drink beloved by the people of Ashina. So there's actually a little bit of interesting lore, even in this description here, to an area that we haven't even reached yet, and I'll go into depth with this one a little bit more once we get to that location.
あの人の好きなお茶です。回帰祝いに良いでしょう。
So we'll go and give the sake to the sculptor, and we'll get these 2 prosthetics equipped.
茶を持ってきた。
そうか。まったく世話焼きやがって。
So give him the sake and get a little bit more lore.
茶だ。
うまそうな茶じゃ。もらうとするか。しみれ。こいつを飲んでるとエマの父を思い出す。
エマ殿の父上とは。
道元。あいつは希代のクス師だった。そしてからくりにも明るい。いや、からくりバカの息か。ちとふざけたやつだが、わしも恩人よ。ああ、お前さんの恩人でもあるぞ。
どういうことだ。
腕を失ったわしに道元が作ってくれた。今はお前さんの左腕にあるそいつをな。もっとも義手作りも初めは思うようにいかず、幾度も幾度も作り直してくれた。
どうした。
忍び義手をまともに動かす修練じゃと言ってな。エマにせがまれ、駒やら何やらおらされたものじゃ。そうしたことを重ね、忍びの牙と呼べる代物となった。いわば忍び義手は道元の忘れがたみじゃ。
忘れがたみ。
随分と経つ。忍びを捨てたわしじゃが、それだけは捨てられなんだわ。
So we just learnt a little bit more about the lore. We learnt that Emma was raised by Dojin. Dojin being an inventor and an engineer. We discovered that he was the one who made the prosthetic arm. The prosthetic arm that we're using right now. And that the prosthetic arm originally belonged to the sculptor, who was once a shinobi himself. We also learnt that the sculptor is responsible for crafting most of these upgrades, such as the spinning top, which is one of the upgrades for the shuriken that we have. So we'll present the prosthetic, we'll grab the next couple of items available to us, the Iron Fortress and the Sabimaru. We'll talk to the sculptor, see if he's got anything else for us, and then, finally, we're going to be heading to Senpou Temple. So we'll acquire the Sabimaru and the loaded umbrella. When spread open, it will protect against attacks from all directions. Hold it while moving to protect from light attacks. But this is an umbrella, after all. It won't protect you from low attacks, such as sweep attacks. And we'll go to the Sabimaru. The blue poisonous rust on Sabimaru's blade applies poison status abnormality. Wielded in the wars of old, the blade's blue rust was used to drive off the inhuman Okami warrior women. Even now, it is likely to be effective against their descendants. So, the inhuman Okami warrior women have descendants, and we're going to learn all about them pretty soon. We'll see if we can afford any upgrades, which we can't with our 38 sen. But we can see that we've got a bunch of options available to us now, such as the spring-loaded flame vent and the spring-loaded axe. And there's also a couple of prosthetic tools that we don't have any possession of at the moment. But we'll get there in a sec. So, what we'll do now is we'll finally head to Senpou.
また久しくらいならかしてやろう。
Alright. Let's travel to the castle. Oh wait, no. We have to quickly stop by the old grave, because we have to pick up an item which leads us to another prosthetic tool. So let's quickly teleport there and grab that. Alright, let's head up here. Okay, so we'll eavesdrop on these guys here. And then we'll get this item that we need.
塩が足らぬと思うか。
ええ、食うのはもちろんですが、傷口や仏さんの清めにも入りようでして。
これだけ人死にが続いては、ということだ。
ええ、おかげで戦場病にかかる者も多ございます。
そうか。なんとかして塩を手に入れねばな。
Alright. Grab this guy as well. Was it this guy? Should have been this guy. Or maybe... Wait. The guy who has... I think I've come to the wrong bridge. Alright. Let's work our way through here. Let's open up the front door. Which bridge do I need to go to? I thought it was that one, but it's not. I don't already have it, do I? No, I don't. Oh, and I forgot to talk to Emma. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Where am I heading? There's a bridge that I need to go to that has a couple of guys on it. It's not the one heading toward the sunken valley. It is... Oh! Of course. Whoops. Let's head back up this way. I have to go this way. It's these guys over here.
お主、ハローヘンに呪いを着せたそうだな。
ああ、あやつめ、ぐずりおってな。まったく難儀な仕事じゃった。だがその甲斐はあったのではないか。あの巨体と攻撃に加え、今や刃も通さぬのじゃからな。 まあその通りじゃな。無理くり着せているからの。何かあれば鎧はすぐに剥がれちまうさ。
Alright, so let's grab these guys. This is the item I was chasing, the gatehouse key. The key to a samurai gatehouse located in the Ashina Reservoir, not far from the well the wolf was kept in. Here, Gyobu of the Demon's Broken Horn is respectfully guarded by Ashina samurai. The Broken Horn is the spear blade once wielded by Gyobu the Demon. It's said that no prey can escape Gyobu's horn. It pulls enemies in and is even capable of stripping an enemy's armor. So this is the direction we normally have to head to get to Senpou Temple. But first, gonna head this way. We'll go grab what I consider the most useful tool in the game. So we'll head down to the reservoir. Head this way. Sneak around here. Give ourselves a bit of a clearer passage. And now we have to go here. The gatehouse. So it's here where Gyobu was meant to be kept after we defeated him. So we'll grab the heavy coin purse, and here is the most useful tool in the game, in my opinion. Gyobu's Broken Horn. Famed horn spear, once used by Gyobu Masataka Oniwa, affixed to the shinobi prosthetic to create a prosthetic tool. The horn contracts to pull enemies in, also capable of stripping crude armor. When the horn was broken during the rebellion, Isshin praised it for its splendid shape, awarding Oniwa with the cross-bladed spear of the Shuzen Tamura. So, we'll head back to the temple, grab this upgrade, and then, finally, after an hour, we're gonna start getting to Senpou Temple. So, grab this upgrade quickly. We have 300 sen, which isn't enough for the gourd seed. So we'll grab an upgrade to the number of heals that we've got. And then what we'll do is we'll grab this upgrade, and then finally we're off to Senpou. The Loaded Spear. Unleash far-reaching thrust attacks. Lighter enemies struck by the spear may be dragged towards the wielder. Those of a large build will at times force themselves into poorly fitting armor. Such armor could be torn clean off, coined by Gyobu as armor stripping. Now, that's the description that this item has, but it has one more very, very useful ability, and it's something that we're going to end up using. Probably not this stream, but there's one boss, it's extremely weak to it. But we'll get there when we get there. Alright, so off to Senpou Temple, and we're going to meet this NPC. So we'll travel to the Ashina Castle gate, and then we're off to Senpou. But before that, there's probably one of my favorite enemies in the game. And I don't mind if I die to him, because it's pretty funny. Alright, let's head across. Cross over this bridge. Okay, so just beyond this gateway here is the hidden path to Senpou Temple. And if we look over, we have this large fellow here with his dogs. So we'll just jump down here. Ouch. Ouch. I jumped into it again. Sheesh, strange. Alright, so this guy is one of my favourite enemies in the game. Because he's got this one attack, which I think is just terrific. Let's see if I can't get him to do it. And like most enemies, you can just deflect every single attack. Come on. Do the attack. One of my favourite animations in the game, so I can't get him to do it. Here we go. I love this. Love that so much. Just Sekiro's reaction to it. It's just amazing. Love it. Ow. Too close. Up. Ouch. And he's dropped some scrap magnetite. So grab that. grab some upgrade materials, and we'll head into here. So we'll rest up. We'll have a chat with the memorial mob here.
ご供養いかがかね。
こんなところにも。
死者があるところ、また供
I
養
can't
衆
think if these guys have anything important
汚
for
れと
us.
て我らばかりは見捨てまい。さあ、ご供養
I mean,
し
he's
て
got the
い
dragon
きな
mask
され。
right, but we don't need that just yet. So he's got pellets, dragon's blood droplet, contact medicine, some possession balloons, some light coin purses, the mask fragment dragon, the center pot, and a prebbead. So he does actually have something useful. So between the gourd seed that the merchant has and the prebbead that this guy has, we need 3,400 sen. So we'll have to
死者
remember
があ
that.
るところ、また供養衆あり。いずこへ行こうと、ご供養を欠かさぬようにの。
Right, so now from here we'll head down into the abandoned dungeon. And if we work our way down here, we have this rather sinister looking fellow.
あなたはこのような場所に何用ですか？ああ、もしや忍びのお方でしょうか？
そうだ。
やはりそうですか。あの任を請け負っていただけるとか。私は道中落ち水の施術の支度を任されております。早速ですが、忍びのお方、師匠から預かった文をお渡ししましょう。司祭はこちらに。
The surgeon's bloody letter. So we've just met Dojin, who lives in the abandoned dungeon and is conducting some experiments. A worn and bloodstained letter from Dosaku, the surgeon in the abandoned dungeon. Required one tough man, preferably a strong samurai or a young, large soldier, such as a member of the Taro troop, must be delivered unharmed. Dosaku. So this quest line is actually, it's not what you'd consider a good quest line. Like the rewards you get are certainly not as good as if you were following this, the quest lines for the strong samurai, who we've already met, Jinzemon, or a young large soldier such as the member of the Taro troop. So we haven't met him yet, but we're about to when we get to Senpou. So we can pursue that and give Dosaku those characters to move this quest forward, or we cannot. And as you can see, we're surrounded by examples of his experiments, and we can see a couple of bloodied corpses just beyond the gateway there. So what we'll do is we'll head down, we'll avoid those guys there, and we'll get to this idol here. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll have a bit of a swim through the dungeon here. Sneak up on these guys. Grab the cash, the pacifying agent, and the coin purse. And then what we'll do is we'll continue our journey. And from here, we actually discover something pretty useful. In this cavern here, we have an elevator. Now, there's a lot of theories as to who constructed the elevator, and the man responsible for the prosthetic arm is the one responsible for it. So we'll head up. And welcome to the glorious looking, and I absolutely love the design of this. So a mysterious voice has called out to us, so if we head over here we can actually talk briefly to it. So we have a mysterious ghostly voice calling out to us. They're telling us that we shouldn't be here, that Senpou Temple, the monks who live here, have betrayed their pursuit of Buddha's teachings. But betrayed it for what? We'll find out very soon. So we'll grab this idol here and we'll head into what I consider to be one of the most beautiful areas in the game. So we'll rest up. We'll head out. So welcome to Senpou Temple. Our destination is just beyond us there. So we have to ascend, like most elements of this game. We have to find our way from below to above. We have to follow that pathway up through this building here and slowly get to the top of the temple, which is where we'll meet this NPC that you can only meet if you haven't defeated Lord Genichiro and saved Kuru. As you can see over this side here, it's part of our pathway. And if we look this way, we should be able to see Ashina Castle. But the first thing we want to do is head down this way, grab some Gaichin sugar. We want to head to the right. Jump around here, grab the iron, and then we'll talk to this poor soul that's sobbing over here.
置いていかれてしもうた。みんな小太郎を置いてどこへ行ったんじゃ。おらどうすればいいんじゃろう。なぜ泣いている。皆に置いていかれてしもうたんじゃ。皆とは。皆はあれ誰じゃ。くるくる回る赤白いお花、たった一輪真っ白いお花、真っ白いお花が見当たらない。なんだと。頭が痛え。 すまねえ。あんた何を言っているのかオラにもわけがわからねえんだ。とにかく真っ白いお花を探さなきゃ。
So we've just met Kotaro, and in his own stilted fashion he's told us what we need to get for him. A pure white flower. So Kotaro is also one of the members of the note that the surgeon was looking for. So if you're feeling particularly darker, or you don't want to pursue poor Kotaro's quest to its completion, you can give him over to Dosuku, and Kotaro will have a tragic end. But if you find the white flower, which is what we'll be doing in this playthrough, you actually give him a measure of peace. But what we'll do is we'll drop down here and we can see the first monk that we're going to have to deal with. Now, the ascent up the mountain, you've got a couple of choices. You can utilize stealth, you can utilize agility, or you can just fight your way through every single enemy in the game. I'll grab him so I can grab a level up. But then what we'll do is we'll sneak through the long grass. As you can hear, the monks are still praying. As the mysterious voice said, to whom? Now, there are a collection of mobs throughout this area here. You have one guy with a staff protecting the doorway here. You have another cluster of 3 behind him, and you have roaming mobs all the way up the mountain there. Now, there are a few useful-ish sort of items that you can collect in this area, and you can work your way through and collect them all if that's something you're interested in. There's no real lore to be found, so what we might do is just get this guy and then we'll do something iconically Sengoku, and we'll shinobi our way through the treetops to get to the building. I dropped. Head up here. Kill all these crickets. So we'll creep down here, kill this guy. Come on, buddy. And I've drawn aggro from all of them, so we're going to change up. We're going to move over here, we're going to grab the gourd seed, and we're going to run out of the building. Because at no point do we have to engage with any of these guys. So we'll move around here, crouch to make them drop aggro, and then we'll have a chat with the prayer woman who we met on the bridge. I'll wait for them to drop aggro, otherwise they're going to start throwing stuff at me. Again, much like I said when I first started this playthrough, you don't have to engage with every enemy that you find. A lot of them can be skipped or avoided if you want. You can, of course, just work your way through and destroy every single enemy in the game, if that's something that you're inclined to do. So now most of them have left, we'll have a chat with this prayer lady.
一つは生ガキ、一つは干しガキ。あっちじゃ。生ガキはあっちじゃ。駆け越えて穴くぐり、生ガキもいでくれよさ。
生ガキ、どういうことだ。
困りごとかい。しからばお米じゃぞい。お米じゃ。困りごとあるならばお米を恵んでくだされよ。
So this is the first indication of the quest line that we're following. The old woman has told us that there are 2 fruits of the serpent, and the fresh one exists over the ravine. She's told us that if we give her rice, then she'll offer advice as to how to get over there. So at this point in time, we have nothing to offer her, so we'll do nothing.
お米はないかな。おちの巫女様のお米じゃぞい。
So that's the second reference to the divine child that we've experienced, and maybe now we're thinking that the ghostly voice that we heard was indeed the divine child. So we need rice from the divine child, which we'll get to. So next, we have to work our way through this area here. And as you can see, there's this giant tree with a bunch of spirit emblems. But our journey is still taking us up here, and we can see a bridge that we have to cross to get there. So what we can do is move our way across. There's a bunch of monks around. And suddenly we've got our next new enemy in the game, which are these guys here with the double-bladed swords. Now, whilst they can be defeated, and fairly simply as well, it is not an option. Well, we can pick and choose the battles that we have. Either way, what we'll do is we'll head to the right, we'll drop down and get this kill, then we'll get the next kill. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, so our journey across is not something we can do because the bridge has been broken, like just about most of the bridges in this game, unironically. So what we'll do is, if you look past the bridge, you can see an opening, a branch that we can go to. So we'll move across to here, go stealth, and our goal is to just sprint across there and grapple our way up. So, like so. And now we've entered the territory of the rats. We'll drop down, we'll heal up at the altar, the sculptor's idol. Now, the game at this point encourages you to turn right and head up through this pathway here to get to where the bridge is located. What you can do, and what you need to do for the purposes of the dragon purification ending, which is what I'm doing right now, you look to your left. And if you look down there, you can see a broken bridge. So what you can do is sprint, wall jump, not do it that way, down to this bridge. Right. And you can see a memorial mob just beyond there. So we'll pick up this item here. We'll head across. So the reason I've told you guys that you have to go this way for the dragon purification is you've got a couple of items that these guys possess, which you're going to need. So I'll have a chat with them.
国よいかがかね。こんなところにも死者もあるところ、また供養しあり。仏を忘ればまた弔いもなきゆえにな。さあご供養していきなされ。
So, this is the only memorial mob in the game, to my knowledge, that have the persimmons. Now, you need to purchase at least one persimmon in order to get the Dragon Purification quest moving, because a character we'll meet later will be asking you for one. I usually just grab both of them, as, you know, multiple playthroughs, it's always something fun to do. They also give you access to the 5-color rice. A gourd with 5-colored rice is used by shinobi as landmarks, intended to be spread on the ground in recognizable patterns. The white gourd is blessed with fertility, and resting at a sculptor's idol will replenish it. Now, you can purchase this if it's something that you're interested in. I can tell you now that the only thing that it does is allow you to mark a path. It can come in handy in one of the boss fights, but it's not necessary. You can see that this guy also has some light coin purses and some heavy coin purses. You don't have to buy them, although I find that after about New Game Plus 4 or 3, you pretty much just have no other use for your money except buying them. So we've picked up which we're going to need. And our next job right, so we've also got 600 of the 3400, sorry, that we need for both the items that we need to collect. But we'll head back up here. And again, very much in tradition with this playthrough, we're going to just skip ourselves past most of these enemies to get to the top. And one of the more interesting boss fights of the game. So we're just going to ignore most of these guys. Our way up here. Okay, so head up to the bridge, and while not one of my favorite, let me rephrase that. This is certainly one of the more interesting bosses. It requires you to have a knowledge of how the game is played, and it encourages you to use those skills that you've developed. We're also going to have to head down that way shortly as well. But what we'll do to begin with is we'll fight one of the more cooler bosses in the game. Kind of whiffed it there. So I stuffed up that time, since the game
ぜそれを返さぬか。
So, we've just collected a prayer bead, and we're going to have a bit of a chat now about the Armored Warrior that I just defeated. The Armored Warrior also provides us with Breath of Nature Shadow, a latent skill that recovers posture upon performing a successful death blow. A shinobi must be prepared for battles in which he is outnumbered. After killing an enemy, one must exhale, expelling both regret and reaffirming one's core to regain posture. Experiencing battles with stronger opponents further deepens this moment of exhalation. So, we just slayed the Armored Warrior, the only enemy in the game that you can't actually inflict vitality damage on. The entire fight is based on you defeating the enemy with posture damage alone, and utilizing the death blow to kick him off one of the sides of the arena that you're in. Now, it requires a knowledge of the timing and attacks that you need to do with this particular sort of enemy. And you may have heard him cry out for Robert as he fell to his doom. Now, Robert is a name that we've heard once before. We heard about Robert with the Shinobi Firecracker, fitted with Robert's firecrackers. Now, if you remember correctly, when we first collected them, Robert and his father had visited the East seeking a cure for Robert, and they were selling these firecrackers to make money for the effects of this journey. So we have another two characters who ventured here seeking to prevent death from happening. So as you can see, the theme is developing for the game, that undeath is something that many parties are interested in. So we'll head across here, we'll hit the idol, and then what we'll do is we'll go and pick up the item that we require. So we'll rest up. And then what we're doing is we're heading back across the bridge to gain access to another couple of areas, namely this pagoda up here. So what we're doing is we are going to drop down here, jump over here, and then you can see there's a couple of handhold areas down there, so we're going to jump, grab, climb up, and we're going to get to this wall jump area here. Two lizards. And then what we'll do is we'll wall jump our way up. The reason for this is that we come across this particular pinwheel here. And as you can see, it's glowing and it's pure white. So this is the flower that Katara was seeking, and this was how we got access to it. So we'll collect this item, the white pinwheel. A small pinwheel made of white paper, found below a cliff at Mount Kongo. Perhaps it was carried there by the wind. Or is it simply a single pure white pinwheel? Only the child is right here. So this is the item we need for Kataro. We'll return there and hand it to him shortly. So what we'll do now is we'll leap across and we'll head up this rampway here. So you may have noticed that I'm actually one-shotting these lizards by doing an aerial death blow, and all it takes is just a little bit of a jump. It's one of the 2 enemies in the game that you can actually do this with. So we'll head up here, we'll open up this doorway. And here we have one of the enemies. As you can see, they've hideously malformed their appearance, applying all manner of jagged items in replication of the creature they're trying to become. As you can see, he's a bit of a pyromaniac, he likes chucking fire everywhere, but as I was mentioning before with the lizards, there are 2 enemies in the game you can do aerial death blows with for instant kill, and this is one of them. This is the other one of them. So we grab that, pick up the black gunpowder. What we'll do is we'll head around here and collect this item. So, continuing the tradition of finding alcohol in the game, we have some monkey booze. Alcohol created by dew, pooled in a hollow tree. Fruits hidden by monkeys in tree hollows can sometimes ferment and turn into sake with a bit of luck. While it's known for its brutally harsh flavour, some find this acquired taste irresistible. So I'll pick that up, and the heavy coin purse, which gets us that little bit closer to both the gourd seed and the prayer bead. So, there are 2 directions you can go once you get into this room here. To the left is a shinobi pathway. That takes us back to the dilapidated temple. There is a boss fight through that door, and not one that I'm going to be doing right now. And the second one takes us up here to this pagoda and this idol, which we'll rest at. So, to our left, we have a bell. Upon the bell is an inscription. The inscription reads, "Do not ring this bell. Inviting misfortune is an act of virtue, but only the stoutest of heart should ever consider it." At this point, we can actually ring the bell now that we know about the warning it's provided. Doing so grants us an item. Sinister Burden. The Bell Demon. A demonic spirit sealed within the iron bell of Senpou Temple possesses those who ring the bell, strengthening enemies around them. The bell demon confers hardship, but perhaps also slightly better spoils. Using this item has no particular effect, aside from causing the demon to leave. So, this is one of the ways to further increase the difficulty of the game, and when paired with Kuro's Charm, you can create a completely different experience. So for the purposes of this playthrough, we are not going to be using the Bell Demon unless we need to farm for some Divine Confetti, which may end up happening. So what we'll do is we'll release this burden upon us by using the Bell Demon, but we may come back to it. So from here, we're going to travel to the temple grounds and make our way up to the temple proper. So, as you can see here, we are now overlooking the great temple. There's also a pagoda to our left, which also possesses a very useful piece of equipment for us, but we'll get there shortly. As you can see here, we're now in the temple grounds. We can see a rather serene pool that's occupied by a couple of treasure carp. You can see assorted temples that lead our way across and then further up. There are a couple of dogs down here as well, if you choose to go down that way, or you can merely just jump across the rooftops. So what we'll do is we will grab the treasure cart scales, because as I said in the first part of the playthrough, we want to be collecting these wherever possible because of the quest that becomes available toward the end of the game. So now we have both of those. We're going to vault our way up. Wrong way. And I've gone and drawn aggro from just about everybody else going to stealth kill. Awesome. So we'll just skip past most of these guys. They're not necessary to deal with. And we're going to get to this temple. Now, you can continue heading left and work our way up the mountain that way, or we can do a quick 180 and jump down over this section here. Inside, we have one of the more unique bosses in the game. But we'll work our way through. Now, with a bit of quick movement, we can actually work our way through a majority of these guys to our next test. Excuse me. Ow, ow, ow. Let's say. Missed my death blows. Okay, so long arm centipede. Excuse me. So I kind of whiffed a few blocks there, but the idea of dealing with these long-armed centipedes is that you parry every single one of their attacks, and then they open themselves up to death blows. And they've also granted us yellow gunpowder, so amber-coloured grains forming the base for powerful gunpowder, a precious commodity only found in the Sunken Valley. The yield from yellow powder is greater than that of black, lending the valley stronghold defenses their fiery vigor. And we've also just been granted a perk. We've picked up another skill level. So we'll head around, we'll pick up all the items in this area. And then we'll head our way up the mountain. Nice and easy. So, as I've been saying through a majority of this stream at least, you don't actually have to fight your way up this mountain. You can just sprint your way through, and that's what I'm planning on doing since, you know, as much as this is a lore playthrough, there's also going to be parts of this where I'm going to revert to speedrunning strats just because sometimes the combat is unnecessary. So we'll head our way up the mountain. Maybe I lied a little bit. So we'll continue to head our way up. Couple of guys over here. Alright, I'm just gonna sprint past them. It's not worth the hassle. Wrong way. Excuse me. Excuse me. Heal up. And we're just going to make a mad dash to the store and open her up. Just run through here. They'll pretend short. We'll just rest here. Alright, so we've finally reached the Senpou Temple. Within the temple, you've got dozens, about half a dozen of these monks here, each of them protecting an item. But if you look particularly close at them, let me equip my monocle. You can see something rather disgusting. Oop. They are not entirely human anymore. They've made a pact in order to get a manner of immortality, which touches upon a very, very interesting part of Japanese mythology. For you see, underneath its robes is a centipede, Orochi. A creature considered to have immortality. Unfortunately, it's blurring a bit with that. Anyway, so the reason we've got here before fighting Genichiro or saving Kuru or anything like that, or Kuro or anything like that, is because should you get here soon enough, this gentleman is here praying before the Buddha. And he's got a bit of information for us, which is going to lead us down the dragon purification ending. He's also one of the only priests that we can talk to in this fashion, and as you can see, he does have a rather writhing mass of... what's a good description for that? Intestinal sort of centipede looking things that have crept out from under it, and it's sitting upon it. And you can see strange red worms moving over his body. You can see as well that he's basically skeletal, and that relates to the Buddhist monks' belief that they can subsist on nothing at all. And if you look into it, if you look into Google, things like that, you can actually find, let me just move that a bit better, pictures of these Buddhist monks who starve themselves and essentially mummify themselves. And this is something that these priests have been following. So we can actually have a chat with him. So the priest is going to offer us a little bit of information about this figure.
尊いお方がいると聞いた。尊いお方。あの子のことじゃな。もうここにはおらん。わしのせいじゃ。あの子は奥の院にこもってしもうた。会うことはかなわぬぞ。そうか。お主は忍びか。ならばあるいはお主に一つ頼みがある。あの子は知りたがっておった。己の定めのゆえんをもし会えたならばこれを渡してやってくれ。せめてもの償いじゃ。
So this holy priest wishes for atonement for his actions. He needs to let the divine child know for what purpose her destiny is. To that end, he gives you the holy chapter Infested, a passage describing a journey to enlightenment. For an age, I have been blessed by the worm. To be undying is to walk the eternal path to enlightenment. Thus, I must become enlightened to understand why I cannot die. It is said that the holy dragon's origins were in the west, so I wonder, how did the worm come to be bestowed upon me? So, this is pretty interesting. This is the opposite end to what we've learnt about the dragon's blood and the dragon's heritage. The priests know that the holy dragon came from the west, but they've been blessed by worms, or perhaps a more apt translation would be the centipedes, or the orochi, which has granted him undying life. But this is preventing him from reaching enlightenment. He thinks that should he die, enlightenment will be received. But to that end, he needs to know, how did the worm come to be bestowed upon me? And this is a very important booklet, and the divine child needs to receive this. We have not yet met her, but we will very soon. And this is the next step in the path to the dragon purification ending.
わかった。お主、まだ何かあるのか。今のこの寺にはもうまともな人がいるべきではない。その匂い、そなた、龍院の巫女に使えるものじゃったのか。そうだ。巫女は尊いじゃ
らんだ。そなたはそなたの御子を一人にするでない。行きなされ。失ってから食いるのでは遅いのじゃ。
So, as you can see, the High Priest is indeed feeling regret for his actions, and perhaps the fear that he's not going to receive enlightenment. So, we've reached Senpou Temple. We have one more thing to collect, and as you can see here, very true to the High Priest's words, this is not a place for decent people anymore. As you can see, these monks are possessed with what they call the worm. So what we'll do is we'll head this way and out this door and into the pathway here that leads to that pagoda over there. So we'll head down. As you can see, the monks have fetishized themselves. They've impaled themselves with jagged objects to replicate the worms or the centipedes that the High Priest has found himself with. And if you explore this particular area further, which is sort of the catacombs of previous High Priests, you can see that this is practice happening for years. So we'll work our way through here. Our path actually takes us deeper. So we'll crouch here and work our way through. And I'll work our way back up. Okay, so, like I said before, as you can see, this tradition has been going on for a long time. These monks, after death, have found themselves here. See if we can't. Alright, I just realized that the wolf possesses the ability to see in the dark, and it creates this lovely sort of grey appearance, because if I go to try and use the monocle, it's pitch black, which is a nice little callback to that reference. As you can see here, you've got all of these monks and the last head monk, and as you can see on him, covered in centipedes, he's now unmoving, mummified. But our journey continues upward. So we'll work our way up through here. And what that does is it brings us out to the pagoda. And within the pagoda is a very, very useful text. The second last of the skill texts that we receive. This is the Senpou Esoteric Text, a book of secrets that grants the ability to learn Senpou-style skills. Those of the Senpou Temple mastered martial arts in the pursuit of virtue. They considered strong fists and strict discipline essential against Buddha's enemies. However, Senpou Temple was seized by an obsession for the undying, which corrupted their teachings and style. So again, that touches in on the fact that they forsook their virtue after discovering a secret for the undying, and that secret has consumed them. The martial arts that the texts teach us are the ones that you see these monks use against us. And it's a series of abilities that we gain the ability to use. So we'll collect the items that are up here. Kill these 2 lizards. Now, I don't believe there's any other items that you can collect in this area, but we'll do a quick scan. So our journey takes us back to the temple, and with that, the end of the stream. So now we've returned to the temple. And the idol within. And we achieved what I wanted to achieve with this part of the playthrough. We've come to Senpou Temple. We've discussed things with the High Priest. We've received the Holy Chapter Infested. And with that, we can move the Dragon Purification forward, ending forward. So we'll rest up. And we'll finish up here. So I want to thank everybody who stopped by, everyone who viewed. Thank everybody who's going to stop by this video in the future. I hope this was entertaining and informative, and you perhaps learned something about the game you might not have been aware of. Until then, I want to thank you for coming, and I will see you next stream. Bye.